Doll. Here again is your friend Donnie, okay, and with another little anecdoll, okay. Now, disclaimer: keep in mind, I'm a bicentennial baby, okay, which means I was born in the '70s. Now, growing up in the late '70s and early '80s, okay, in a third world country, okay, the thought of a boy playing with dolls was very, very frowned upon. Okay, so keep that in mind as you hear this story, before anybody gets outraged or start calling my dad names. Anyways, so back in the early '80s, you know, this scandal came out, which is the year it says here, I think 80, 81. Can't quite tell. Well, whatever, 80, 81. This scandal was released. I knew of him because one of my cousins had him, and I wanted one. So I had to be very creative in trying to come up with ways to justify and convince my parents into letting me have dolls. So since my dad happened to be a big fan of the show Bonanza, okay, I figured, okay, maybe I can use that angle, okay, because Western. So I figured I tell my dad, okay, papi, there's this new doll. Yes, a doll. I've always called a doll a doll. I never bothered, with the, cute little, no, he's an action figure. Don't call him a doll. No, 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 no. I call a spade a spade. This is a doll, and one day it might become politically incorrect to call this a doll. One day, it might be offensive to call this a doll, but whatever. So I told my dad, look, there's this doll named Ken, and he's a cowboy. Okay, his name is Western Ken. He's a cowboy, and I really want to have him. I know it's not my birthday or Christmas or anything, but I really want him. And then my dad is like, well, a doll? And then I'm like, yes, yes, he's a doll, but he's a boy doll like me. I know you don't want me to play with girl dolls because they're girls and I'm a boy. Okay, remember, these are the early '80s in a third world country, so bear with me. Anyways, so I'm like, he's a boy like me, like, okay, well, he's a cowboy, huh? And I'm like, yeah, dad, yeah, yeah. So after a few days of begging and pleading, my dad finally took me to the toy store. And when I went to the toy store, of course, I made a beeline, no pun intended, for the girls section, quote unquote, because there's where all the Barbies and Kens were kept. Okay. And so my dad started, like, nodding his head because, again, these are the early '80s. Okay. Yeah. So I grab my can cheerfully and bring him back to the counter.